You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
Here's a good question about the healthcare industry, and this can kind of go into some other topics too. Are communities aware that nurses are leaving bedside positions not because of the employer-driven narrative of burnout, but significant lack of staffing, resources, and PPE during the pandemic? Are communities aware that nurses are leaving their positions because of the significant lack of staffing and resources in PPE during the pandemic? I don't think that there's a broad enough understanding of it. Now, you said the employer-driven narrative of burnout. I think that's a real thing that happens, but the answer to burnout, to the extent that it exists, is not self-care, taking a bubble bath. Like, that's all fine and good, and you can do that, and you should do that, but the real answer, the thing that those are going to attack, those things that I said are going to attack the symptoms of the problem. To actually get at the problem of burnout, to the extent that such a thing exists, is to organize and get a good contract and to win different better wages and working conditions. And unionizing will also tackle the other things that you mentioned, which are the lack. It can tackle those things: the lack of staffing, the lack of resources, the lack of PPE, and we've seen that in study after study now has shown that healthcare facilities with union representation have had better outcomes during the pandemic. The union nursing homes have had a 40% lower mortality rate.
Yeah.
40%. 30% lower 30% lower times that the virus is infected. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on what the word is there, but that's amazing. And the reason is because in these workplaces, the workers have control. They have more control. They have a voice on the job over how these resources are spent, over how these resources are divvied up, and things like that. And that matters. That matters a lot. And it really grinds my gears, the fact that our society has done so much performative BS about frontline heroes and essential workers and all this stuff, just really blowing smoke up our bums, and then not actually doing anything about it. Calling these people frontline heroes and essential workers, giving them hazard pay, $2 an hour, and then taking that away after 2 months of it. I mean, seriously, it's insane. The people that are ruling the society are just trying to get us to be, they're trying to distract us from the real issues. They're trying to say, like, oh, if I give you a round of applause, or oh, if I give you some fireworks or something, then maybe you won't ask for better wages. Maybe you won't ask for more nurses in your hospital. Maybe you won't ask for more PPE, and we can't get distracted. We've seriously got to attack this kind of this nonsense that is being placated by this. I've got something for you here, David. Being placated by this performative BS. We can't be placated by that. We've got to keep fighting until we get real solutions. That is my opinion. We've got to keep fighting until we get real solutions, and a round of applause is not a real solution. A round of applause is not a real solution, not at all. And I think that's really important to understand. So we're coming up on the end of the show. We got about 7 minutes left. David looks like he is on the phone. I don't think we're going to be bringing on this caller. The caller just had a couple questions for David, and so sounds like we're going to be following up with them after that. Another question that we got is,
hey, before you go off of that, I wanted to say the public, because are you still on the nurses?
Yes.
The public don't know what's going on in those hospitals simply because the workers are not organized.
Right.
One worker is saying it on Facebook is not going to change the narrative of the public narrative of what they hear. I have talked to nurses. I have organized nurses in this state, and until you begin speaking collectively with one voice, you're never going to be heard. And PPE, we talked about it just a few weeks ago. I talked to nurses in the hospital where management had PPE locked up, and one of the nurses had a patient that coded, and she had to go in there without PPE on and perform CPR on this patient. And she ended up dying because she got COVID from that patient. And no, her story isn't being told because you're not organized.
Yeah.
Call me. Let's get organized.
Yeah, the Machinist Union does organize nurses, so that is something. And you know, he's not gonna. If you don't want to organize with the Machinist Union, we'll get you in touch with other healthcare unions. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, well, the problem is right now the
organized.
Machinist Union are the only ones organizing healthcare in the state.
Right.
And having an advocate, you're not going. That was one of the things that I was told was, well, we just need an advocate in Montgomery on our behalf. No, advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need an external advocate.
And in Montgomery, I mean, you don't need it in Montgomery. You need it in
the workplace.
In the workplace, because
That's
Montgomery,
where you're going to change.
Politicians aren't going to help you. Especially not our,
Lord, no.
Democrats or Republicans. Really, you can't count on them. But certainly not Republicans. You can't count on them to help you in the hospitals. I mean, you got to get organized and
help. You can't count on to help us anywhere.
Yeah.
Look what happened on the dadgum bill last 2 weeks. SB 30. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we're coming. Yeah, somebody asked us, what do we think about the first few weeks of the Biden administration? We were much more optimistic the first week, but we've only got like 4 more minutes, so I don't want to get into that. There was another question about
crap.
Let's
call it like it is. It's crap right now.
Yeah, last week was really, really bad. Last week was bad, and maybe we'll talk about that another time. But I had somebody asked, I have a similar question about what we should do about organizing in situations where the employment status is designed purposely to be temporary, like graduate students. And so the way that you organize there is really the same as you organize anywhere else, which is by talking to your coworkers and forming a union, whether that be through the NLRB or through some other through a solidarity union like they do at Stardust Family United up in New York. And you just have to do it. Obviously, the temporary situation, the temporariness of it makes it more difficult because of the transience of the members. You're not going to be able to have this kind of robust tribal knowledge, this robust historical knowledge. Go to thevalleylaborreport.org and get yourself a hat. We have got new hats now. New hats from a new vendor. I like them better personally. There's a few reasons. For one, the biggest reason, we've got the Union Bug right here. If you're watching on the stream, we've got the Union Bug right there on the front of the hat, right beside our logo.
Let me see that.
Let you see the hat. It's really, really nice. I like it a lot. David's showing it off, making me expose my hat head to the world.
Your hair looks wonderful.
It's great. You do not, contrary to the pictures that David tweeted out, you do not have to wear it as a flat bill. I don't know what has gotten into him, but
you can if you want to go.
If you want to look absurd.
I thought that was a thing.
Yeah, I told David when he tweeted that picture out, I was like, man, I haven't worn a flat bill since I was like 12.
Dude, I see maybe it's because I'm like listen to a lot of rap, but
Maybe. I don't know.
I see everybody in the scene wearing these.
I don't know. I look absurd when I wear a flat bill. So.
Well, I think everybody does, but regardless, I never wore them when they were, in style. So I thought it was absurd then. But
yeah, and like the structure of the hat, we had a smaller run with another shop a while back. And we did switch vendors. The structure of this hat is just better. I think it's a different material, and I like it better. It's in my opinion, it's a better hat. And you can go to our website, thevalleylaborreport.org, snag you one of them. They are $35 with shipping, so that's $35, and that's it. We'll ship it to you wherever you are. It's great. I love it. I am very, very happy with the hat, and so you should snag one while you can. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Here's an announcement right at the top. The North Alabama DSA is holding a necessities drive every Saturday. Every Saturday, that means this Saturday too, from 3 to 5 p.m. at the IBEW Local 558 Union Hall on Clinton Avenue here in Huntsville, right across from Yellowhammer and Campus 805. So if you're in the area, you want to drop off some clothes, some non-perishable food items, blankets, then swing by the IBEW Union Hall, right across from Yellowhammer and Campus 805 from 3 to 5 p.m. this Saturday and every Saturday. All donations will be forwarded to the Manor House. Follow at DSA North Alabama on Twitter for more information. If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week, get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/The Valley Labor Report. We're on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. David is on Twitter at Radical Unionist. That's spelled RADICL Unionist. If you missed part of the show and want to go back and watch it later, you can search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments throughout and release those throughout the week. So if there's one thing that you might be interested in, you can go back and see all the topics that we've talked about in the past. We also upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps. So to see if we are on your listening platform of choice, go to thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe. We do now have a website, thevalleylaborreport.org. Going to talk more about that in just a second. And finally, if you appreciate our work and want to help us stay on the air, consider throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report.